It's Coach's Corner edition. Today's a very special episode because we have one of the brightest young minds coming into our coaching profession. Head coach of the Xavier Prep Saints, Mr. Michael Karls. Thank you for coming in, Coach.
Welcome.
Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Just glad to talk about the Saints.
Awesome.
Well, take us back to the beginning. I know you were in Midland. Is that when you started thinking about coaching, or was it after? How did this little itch start?
Oh boy. So football wise, I've been playing football since I was 6 years old.
Okay.
1998 PDLQ alum.
Wow.
Junior
okay.
micros.
There
Played
you go.
from 98 to 04 there, and then ended up going over and playing in Palm Springs. But for me, I've just been so immersed in football my whole life. That's all I've ever wanted to do. Just chase the dream of playing for as long as I can. It actually, it kind of scared me to ever think about not playing.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I was trying to find every which avenue I could to try to get into, continuing on.
Yeah.
I was playing some semi-pro football with the SoCal Coyotes for a little bit. But I was also coaching. I started coaching at Xavier at the same time.
Okay.
And then once I tore my knee up, that was it for the playing.
Yeah.
And so I really dove into the coaching side of things. And, once the first time that you look at a defense, you design a play that week, you install it, you practice it, and then when it hits perfectly in a game, that's where I got the excitement again of I don't need to play. I can actually coach and let these guys do what they're supposed to do on the field.
I still get that thrill of playing kind of, from as a coach instead of having to play. I think that's why I do it too. So
yeah, no, and it's you get the excitement through these guys because it's you see all of the trial and error week to week. There would be times where I'd have a screen pass installed week 1, but saving it to week 5 or 6. And then there's the times where, it works. And then there's the times where it just completely blows up and you're like, I just wasted 5 weeks of install on this. So great.
Right.
yeah.
Our community, taking it back a little bit though, probably remembers you from a recent, really great team. I mean, kind of recent, right? 2009, Palm Springs Indians won a CIF championship.
First one in school history.
Yeah, and you were the quarterback of that team.
Yes, sir.
So kind of bring me back to that time, and I mean, I'm sure, your days in Palm Springs you look back very fondly about, but how did that kind of shape you to where you're kind of going now? Is there going to be some Palm Springs influence from your playing days to come to Xavier? How's that influence today?
Give me chills thinking about it. No, it's awesome because I was able to. I went to St. Teresa, so I would go to the Palm Springs football games. My sister went there, and so I was able to watch guys like Scott Saunders and AJ Scott and MD McLean and watch
legends.
those. And Andy Keene, and watch those guys be able to make those CIF runs, and then unfortunately fall short a couple of times. And so for me, all I kept thinking about was, man, I want to be that guy that helps take this team over the edge and be able to bring a CIF championship to Palm Springs. And then so what's funny is when we're at Palm Springs, league titles are cool. We enjoy having league titles, but we always had a saying league titles are cool, but we're looking for CIF championships. That's that's what we're focused on, right? And so being able to do that, and then now have this opportunity at Xavier to be able to take us over the edge and possibly have a chance at CIF titles, that's what's really exciting for me. And so being able to bring that mindset from Palm Springs of we have bigger things to focus on than just, of course, we want to compete in the Valley. And of course, we want to be league champs, but we want to be able to compete outside those windmills, past those mountains, because there's tons of guys that can play football all over Southern California, and we want to be able to compete with those guys 100%. Just as much.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And that's what you guys, you guys are really the first team in a while to go out there and get it done and win that championship in 09. You had a great team. You had some great people around you too. The last guy we had in here was your running back, Mr. Nick King, who's also a head coach, which is a pretty great coincidence for you guys.
I'll give you another funny thing about that too, because in the CIF championship game, it still haunts me to this day. We had a trick play, it was one of it's in the late fourth quarter. we had a trick play that Nick King throws a double pass to me, right? And so we had that, and I end up getting blasted in the end zone. I end up dropping it, but like it is kind of funny to think about like all the different ties in the Valley and how you can play like the 6 degrees of separation with a lot of dudes and a lot of the coaches too.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason we do this show, is to kind of show everybody, hey, we're interconnected. I know you're a Palm Springs guy, you're a PDOQ guy, but you know, we're all still in the same community, and we all still need to work together to accomplish the same goals. You know, we should all be rooting for each other when we're outside of the Valley. Right. So that's kind of you've kind of fit that mold. So I'm glad to hear that.
You played safety, right? And then you switched quarterback. How did that?
So originally, like at Palm Springs, I was competing my junior year. I was competing with the senior quarterback at the time. In the preseason, and so we would go back and forth, drive after drive, and then I slowly started to see like my reps getting taken away on the offensive side, and then I slowly started to get pushed more into playing safety, which I'm a football player first. That's what I always tell. I used to tell recruiters that. I used to tell everybody that I'm a football player first, but I also can play quarterback, right? So anywhere the team needed me was great. I'm not going to say that I was down there making tackles and making all these plays, right? Which, funny enough, Coach Daryl at Palm Springs, he was my DB coach. He used to call me the supervisor, right? So I would play free safety, and I just make sure guys would be down. Everybody, okay, balls on the ground, okay, we're good. Like there's no big plays.
Right.
It also helped that I had 2 senior linebackers in front of me that had 100+ tackles apiece, right? So not much that I had to do in terms of getting guys down, but it was beneficial for me because, especially now, this is the time where, you know, kids, when they feel like they're not getting the reps that they should, or they feel like they're not getting the opportunities, it's really easy to be able to just leave or try to transfer and try to find new opportunities. For me, I had to wait my turn the entire time. I didn't get to start as a senior as a quarterback until my senior year, right? And so I had to take that opportunity and do as much as I could with it. Now, I mean, I don't think I'd ever change, you know, knowing what I know now. I don't think I would ever change that, because I think it shaped who I was. It helped build a chip on my shoulder, not only for me as a football player, but for me as a human being, of being able to go through something that is tough and feel like that I'm not be given an opportunity, but being able to buy my time, kind of similar to me as a coach now, right? Being able to learn and develop and grow as a coach, and then being able to be ready when called upon to be a head coach.
I love that.
Yeah. You definitely put your time in. I mean, you were the OC there for a couple years, so you know the school. I mean, it was a natural fit, I think, for you to kind of ascend to this position. Kind of thinking on those terms, want to turn the corner a little bit on philosophy. So you're an offensive guy, correct? You're going to stay on that. You thinking you're going to stay on the side of the ball?
So offensively, that's just where I've cut my teeth, and
very, very detailed orientated. I got to work with you a couple years ago at the All-Star game, and I was very impressed. You were just dialed in. So
yeah, I appreciate that. And one of the persons that I have to give credit to is another former desert coach. When I first came back from college, the first person to kind of sit down and teach the run and shoot to me was Coach Brett Davis. Okay, and then
are you a Davis disciple?
I guess I would be. I guess I would be a Davis disciple. Well, so like I learned it from Coach Davis, and then Coach J. David Miller, who's the head coach at Desert Chapel, he was our head coach at SoCal Coyotes, and then also got to introduce me to Mouse Davis, who's the godfather of the run and shoot. So I got to learn it from Coach Davis, but I also got to learn it from the guy who really took off with it, Mouse, and then also be able to sit down and talk with June Jones as well. So like I've gotten immersed in the run and shoot family.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm hearing is Xavier might be opening up the offense a little bit this year, huh?
Well, so for me at least, offensively and defensively, we want to accentuate the skills of our players, right? Like my first year as an OC, I had a 6'7" pocket passer quarterback. I'm 5'9", and I would run all over the place when I played, right? So being able to adjust the strengths of what the players are good at versus what I want or like, are two different things, right? Because like for me, when I'm talking to quarterbacks, right, I want to know what they see on the field, right? It's easy for us from the side to be able to see, oh, that guy was open or that was open, but they're looking at it from their point of view of like, there's all these different moving parts, so they might see something that's completely different than me. So what I like may not work because of what they see. So they have to be able to trust what the play call is for them and be able to execute it on their own.
Yeah. I mean, but still, that's kind of exciting. If you're a receiver or quarterback going to Xavier, you're going to get opportunities, right?
Absolutely.
To throw the ball around, and that's just all, that's what kids want these days. So that sounds pretty exciting.
Looks good on tape.
And with the way that the game of football is kind of being steered towards or geared to is, you have to have some competent quarterback play if you want to win championships, right? In league, right? In our league, at least, we're kind of a run-heavy league in a sense, right? And so, it's very beneficial for when we make it to the playoffs and are able to grind out certain games. But what happens when you run into a team that is just as strong or is just as tough, and you have to put the ball in the air because there are so much more opportunities on the perimeter.
They're stacking that box,
right? And so we have to be prepared for both of those cases.
That's fun football to watch too.
They always have some good receivers over there too.
Yeah, and I think it plays to your strengths, well, at least with your traditional strengths and players' talents. You guys always had some really good athletic receivers over there. Just a quarterback to get on the ball. So seems like that plays into your philosophy.
And just being able to have those skill guys and then being able to marry it with like the run and shoot concepts is, you don't necessarily need to have the biggest line that blocks for 3, 4, 5 seconds, right? We're kind of a 2.5 and get the ball out type of scheme. But, being able to marry that with some of the run things too, because we do have quarterbacks in our system that can run as well. And I don't want to ever like hand tie them to one certain thing, right? Like I had a coach in college. We were in practice one time and I'm rolling out and I throw back a little bit across my body and I throw a touchdown and I'm like super excited. And then my coach is ready to cuss me out because, I threw it back across my body. He's like, that's a cardinal sin. I'm like, coach, he was open. It was a touchdown. Like I'm trying to make a play. Right. And so, I never want to ever discourage a kid that uses his instincts in the right way and is able to also protect the football as well, right? Like when I ask you or ask a player what they saw or what they did and they go, I don't know. Well, no, seriously, tell me because I really, it doesn't matter like that it was right or wrong. I want to be able to correct that whatever way that I can. If it was right, good. Here, let me tell you why all of those things are right so you can do it again. And then if it's wrong, here, let me help you fix whatever it is that was wrong and then use it moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I know when I was a DC, I'd always pull my captain if we were getting our teeth handed to us by a certain team. I'd always pull my captain over when they come off the field and see, hey, what are you seeing out there? Because I can only see so much from up top.
You can only stare at one thing at a time.
I can only. So it's really good that you're relying on your players to kind of give you some input because ultimately we're all trying to do the same thing, right? Yeah. And they're going to see it at a different angle, and you got to take as a coach their viewpoint and adjust from them. So that's a good philosophy.
And on the flip side, I think they'll trust you more when you're asking their opinion, and especially when you incorporate it in a game plan, they really buy into it even more. So
no, absolutely, and that's huge too. Is the buy-in into the game plan? Like instead of just having plays, like I want you guys to understand why we're calling this or why this is going to work against this defense or what we're doing to set up another play, right? And then so now like in 2021 when I had Ryder Ruiz, one of the best quarterbacks in the Valley's ever seen, it almost got to a point where it was like he knew what I was going to call, or he was telling me, hey, we got this going, like we can go, right? And so that's when it's really fun, is when they're on the same page as you, and now it almost comes effortless when you're calling
you get to kick back a little bit, right? And just let them do their thing. That's really fun. Yeah.
Having trust in your players. Yeah, those Ruizes they got another one coming up pretty soon. I think you're going to see him in
another one.
Yeah, you're going to see him in a couple of years.
Byron.
He might be better than all of them.
What's he play?
Quarterback.
Quarterback.
Shout out to Byron. Man. He's gonna do some big things. So you had mentioned it before. We all have help getting to spots that we've gotten to in life and people that have kind of shown us the way? Who are some of your mentors that kind of helped you get to this position that you're in now?
I'd say I've taken a lot from many of the different coaches that I had in my life. My dad was one of my first coaches. You know, he was always there, PDLQ, all the way up until high school, and then kind of let me, go on and learn from other guys. But from an X's and O's standpoint, from running the football and being able to understand blocking schemes, Steve Fabian was ahead of his time.
Looking to upgrade your home? Tile Designs by Fina is your one-stop destination for beautiful flooring, hard surfaces, and countertops. From timeless design, modern styles, they've got the perfect look for every room. Stop by today and transform your space with Tile Designs by Fina. Let's design together.
Steve Fabian was ahead of his time.
Legend.
100%.
Man.
Because there were things that we would do, like in terms of like counter option from gun, or all these different other like misdirection plays that, like, to the people at the time would think like, what is it? That doesn't even look right. Or like we would have like unbalanced formations, and teams wouldn't know how to line up to it, or they would, or overload it. And then for me, it made it easy because then I can just check, read option, weak side, and then be able to pitch. And now I'm pitching to Nephi Garcia, who's going to take it 80 to the house, right? Like, so it was so like to be able to have Fabe and the way that he was able to teach us how the blocking schemes worked, right? Like how to do a full block, how we're supposed to get to double teams, right? And then being able to make those calls during the game. Him and Coach Murphy working together on that, that was like a 1-2 punch that was just unbelievable.
Some good coaches.
I didn't really get to understand it at the time of like what I was around, but then, once you move on and you have other coaches, you get to understand and appreciate, wow, like what these guys were teaching me was something special.
Yeah,
they were good.
Yeah. So you're a disciple of Fabe too, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's another great legendary coach. We gotta have Coach Fabian on the pod on
that would
days,
be good.
Man. We gotta see if
no, what a guy! He is such a character.
Yeah, I was just gonna say character.
Yeah. Maybe Coach could give us his number. I don't know. We'll put that in the back.
We'll find him.
We'll find him. But yeah. I mean, so I'm hearing a lot of Palm Springs influence here. One of the main things that a head coach has to do, though, when you get the job is build out that staff, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how is that going? Are you still looking for applicants? What's the process look like for that?
Well, I'm always looking for anybody that wants to help. That's first and foremost. But when I'm building out my staff, one of the things that I wanted to make sure of was, in the desert, everybody that's in this football community, we all know ball, right? Yeah. We all know football to a certain extent, but can you teach it? I'm not just going to tell the players what to do. I want you guys to teach it, right? Yeah. And then not only are we teaching it, but how are we presenting ourselves as a staff, and how are we mentoring these guys, not only on the field, but off the field as well, right? We want to be able to be beacons for guys in our community that they can look to and say, hey, coach is doing all the right things. I want to do all the right things too. Or whatever he's preaching to me or whatever he's telling me, I know that he lives by that, and I know that that's working and that I can do that as well. Yeah. So I'd like to hopefully by the end of the week, my staff should be all complete.
Okay, you're getting close then.
Yeah,
huh?
No. So I've got a bunch of guys already that I'm really excited about, and they're excited to be a part of it too, because we all kind of have the same mindset of like, we have a chip on our shoulder from places that we've been, and we want to be able to come together and build something that we can call our own, and that we can stand on our own merit and be able to be part of this valley.
Yeah. Last time that happened, you turned into a quarterback. Right. You went all the way. So watch out. Here we go.
Works out for you sometimes.
Keep that chip right there.
Right, exactly.
Chip works out for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of other teams in the valley, so new league coming in this year, right? I'm sure you kind of already started studying that. What's your opinion on that? What do you think some of the likely outcomes are going to be from us all being in the same league?
I think the cool thing about it, I think it gives more teams opportunity for postseason play.
Yeah.
Just being able to have teams kind of bounce from league to league, right? And then it allows teams that, that aren't always consistent in terms of enrollment and numbers, right? Gives them a chance to compete where they should be competing, right? especially for us, like that in 2021 when we won DEL, and the first round we had to go face Aquinas, who's consistently been like a Division 4 or 5 team, and
very good.
You know, we were. It was like, I think we were in like Division 8 or 9 at the time, right? And so like it, you know, made it kind of tough, you know, to get ready and get going for something that we kind of didn't really think was going to be a successful run, right? And so just being able to get to postseason play, I think, is big for these guys. That was always my thing, is I want to be able to go outside of the valley and compete with other schools.
It's fun.
And be able to get our name on the map. And you know, if you stay around long enough, all these other schools now are coming to our games on Friday rather than, you know, sitting at home ourselves.
I mean, it's going to be interesting. Definitely, all of us coming back together as a valley, I think.
Well, we beat up each other every year, so we kind of get tired of, you know, playing each other every year, and it's so nice to get in the postseason and just see different competition, and it's a very fun experience. And like you said, I think it is good for the kids, more opportunities,
and I think it ultimately will help build the valley as a whole in terms of football, right? Because we do play good football out here.
We do.
And it, you know, it doesn't always get the spotlight that it needs, but you know, all of our teams, we're always competing. Like no matter who it is, we're always competing in postseason play. Whether it's, you know, I like to always look at Coachella, because they've been doing a really good job of like getting to and then being able to move on first, second round, like consistently in their divisions, right? So that's all we can ask for, is just having the opportunity to compete in the postseason.
Yeah, I think Coach Johnson does a good job, and it's a pretty good school to emulate if you're going to try and emulate that success. We're a machine out there, man, and they run the run and shoot.
A little bit,
You kind of spoke to it, but so what? I don't know if you've gotten to this part yet, because you know, you're just getting your feet wet in there as the head coach. But schedules are always kind of already set, I think, for next year. What are you? We've heard different. This is a hot topic in the coaching community because of the algorithm and because it can make or break you. The preseason schedule can make or break where you're seated in the playoffs. There's different philosophies about this. We wanted to kind of pick everybody's brain and see what they're thinking in terms of scheduling due to the algorithm seeding that we see at the end of the season. So what is your kind of philosophy? I know you're not really touching the schedule too much this year, but going forward, you will have a heavy hand in that. What are you kind of thinking on that?
So yeah, our schedule.
Tired of payroll headaches? iPay Solutions is your local payroll and HR partner right here in the Coachella Valley. From direct deposits to compliance, we handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. iPay Solutions, local, reliable, and built for your success.
Got dirty carpets, tile, or furniture? Trust the Carpet and Tile Care Company, your family-run experts. We bring sparkle back to your home with top-notch cleaning services, reliable, affordable, and eco-friendly. Call us today. We can be reached at carpetcarrot.co. Phone number 760-773-5882.
So yeah, our schedule is already set. I teach computer coding right now in high school.
Really?
And so so one of the things that I do teach is how you're able to adjust and change your algorithm based on what you see, or what you're constantly looking at, or how long you watch videos for, you know, whatever it is. So for me, it's pretty simple. We can dictate our algorithm just by what we can control, right? Wins and losses. And so if we win the games that we need to win, then there shouldn't be an issue with our algorithm, right? Now, I say all that to say, our first game of the season, we play Rim of the World, who was 9-1 last year, and they missed the playoffs.
Yeah, I heard
right?
that.
9-1, and they missed the playoffs.
Right.
That's
And the
what
other team was like 2-8
Right.
that made it.
Right. And then the other team in their league that did make the playoffs was 4-6 or something like that.
Outrageous.
Right.
Outrageous.
So the algorithm, I mean,
Burn it all down.
No, right. It is crazy. But I do like that I do like that it seeds all the best teams, or tries to seed all the best teams together. The thing that I miss and that I'm sad about is, like, when I was playing, it was, you knew if you were one of those top 3, Palm Spring, well, for us, it was always Palm Springs, Palm Desert, La Quinta, right? And if you stick around long enough, we're going to play you in the playoffs, right? And that was kind of partly from that CIF season, was we played La Quinta and we lost that game, and so it was like on our mind of like we want to see them again, like please make it around again. And it almost happened where we made it to the finals and they were playing against Serrano, and Serrano beat them like 6-3 or something.
Game.
Yeah, it was some ridiculous thing, but so we would have had the opportunity of having a CIF championship that was going to be in the Valley no matter what.
That'd be awesome,
and that would have been insane, right? So I don't know if we'll have those types of opportunities anymore, but it would be cool to be able to have opportunities of like however many teams make the playoffs, we come home with championships, whatever division that we're in.
Yeah, that is the upside, is that there's more competitive balance, I guess, right?
The matches are more competitive, it feels like, with the new algorithm. I'll give it that. So.
But I think they do. I think the other thing that they're trying to take into consideration too, when they're at least building out those first round matchups, is also like gate revenue, right? Like, right?
They want to make some money,
right? Yeah, because there's a reason why you would put like maybe two private schools together, or teams that are close in proximity together, right? Like, even though it may not be the greatest matchup, right, it still kind of benefits in that regard.
You talking about that La Quinta game a couple years ago?
And in the Banning Coachella game that we went to this year. That was probably the reason they were seated together, right?
That was a tough one.
It's nice to see that capitalism still rules the day at the end of the day anyway. So
they do have to make some money.
The algorithm loses to capitalism at least. So that's one. I guess that's one thing that stayed the same, huh? So getting to like the product on the field, what can Xavier fans kind of expect come 2026? I know you said you open with Rim of the World. I'm gonna get my popcorn, go sit up in the stands. What am I gonna see, man? What's your vision for that?
So for my football team, we need to be able to be disciplined. All the things that coaches talk about. My whole goal for my players is I want to care for the entire player, right? I want to make sure that they're doing things, not only being successful on the field, but being successful off the field, right? There's a standard that we need to uphold as not only football players in this community, but young men that are going to grow up in this community, right? Or in whatever community that they're going to be in, right? And so for me, being a product of this valley, right? Being a guy that's I can tell my players, I was just like you. I was 6 years old putting on that PDLQ helmet, right? I was competing in this valley at the high school level, right? And then being able to move on and be successful in life and come back and be able to share that with them and see like, oh, I can do something in this valley, right? I can go out and be successful with this football and still be able to chase my dreams, right? So for my football players, right, I want them to be, when they leave my program, have the tools and have the foundation to be better fathers, better husband, and better men in their community, whatever community that may be.
I love here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, right? We are in a competitive, results-orientated business, but at the end of the day, we're all here to kind of churn out some good, well-respected young men and prepare them for life, you know? And I think that, that's going to ultimately help you succeed, is because you've got the right goals in place, man. So that's awesome, man. So younger coaches maybe that looking at Coach Karls and saying, hey, I want to be like Coach Karls one of these days. I want to be a head coach of a, really good varsity program. What advice would you, I know you're just getting your feet wet in this game, but you've been around the game a long time. What advice would you give to somebody that wants to get into this coaching profession?
The first and foremost, you have to know your why, right? Like, what is the reason why you want to be a coach and you want to be able to give back to these players? Because at times it is a thankless job, right? Like, just like my first week, I'm there from 6:30 in the morning all the way until 4 or 5 o'clock, making sure my dudes get their lifts in and making sure that they have someone there that is behind them, right? And so I used to always tell the players, right? Like, I did all of these things, but I want you to take it and go past me, right? Like with Ryder, right? I used to always joke with them, right? Like, you have all of these, you get all these yards and all these touchdowns, right? But what else are you going to do with it moving forward, right? And so for young coaches, I want you to be able to understand that these players really look up to you, right? And they really take what you say to heart. And so for you to be able to pour into them and invest in them, that goes a long way, right? And for me, I had very many coaches that were in my corner and that have helped me along the way. But there were things that I really didn't know that I wish I knew, right? Like I didn't know about the recruiting process. I don't know. Do many kids know that you have to be part of the NCAA clearinghouse to even earn a scholarship, right? Or what are all of the other quarterbacks around the world or around the country doing to get better? Or what do I need to work on to get better, right? Like just being able to have someone that has those types of answers and being able to be around them and be able to give it back to them, right? It's like like there's always the scenario of would you rather take $1 million now or go back with the knowledge you have now, go back 10, 15 years, right? Well, for me, I have the knowledge. So instead of me going back, let me give it to someone else so that they can take and run with it and go beyond whatever I could do.
Right. Oh, man, that's good advice, man.
No, I love that.
Here, man.
Yeah.
So 8th graders, 7th graders, maybe thinking about Xavier because you guys are the only private school in the DEL. How can they reach out to you? Is there a way to get information about the program and the school if they're maybe interested in going the Xavier route and considering that as an option? Where can they kind of look? Where can parents contact you and reach out to you and get that information?
Yeah, so my email is always open. It's on our school webpage as well. We have plenty of information on our school website. The beauty about Xavier and what drew it to me, just starting out as a coach and then continuing on as the head coach, is it has all of the built-in things that families are looking for their students, right?
Okay.
The athletics part, it comes along with it, right? If you're a good athlete, that's part of it, right? And we have coaches at our school that have done all of those things as well, and so they have all of the knowledge that they're looking for. But I think the part that gets missed or left behind is learning how to do the school part, right? So like for me, like in going into college, right, as a true freshman coming from Palm Springs and going into college, I've never seen a day start out at 6 a.m. and I wasn't done until 9 p.m., right? And having practice and meetings and school all in between that, right? It can be overwhelming. And so at least for at Xavier, what is nice about our school schedule, it prepares them for that, right? So you're not always seeing classes 1 through 6 every single day, right? You have to have the responsibility of, I have classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I need to make sure that if I have an assignment due on Friday that I got Monday, I don't forget about it, right? It's the same thing in college too, right? Especially if you're going to like a major university. You could be student 1 out of 300 in a classroom, right? In a lecture hall, and the teacher doesn't know your name. But at least, when we're at Xavier now, because we are such a tight-knit community, you do have that relationship and you do have that kind of safety net to learn all of those tools so that when you do move on to whatever it is that you do, whether it is being a student athlete or just being a student in college, you have all of those tools readily available for you. Right. And then also we do have for 4-year universities, our acceptance rate for our senior class is top notch. It's
like in the 90s
yeah,
or something.
It's like 99,
wow.
almost 99%, like for 4-year colleges, right?
Crazy.
So I mean, it speaks for itself. If you're a good athlete, right, and you're looking to be recruited, I think it goes without saying that you want to be at a school that helps you learn how to do the student athlete part and be able to be successful in college.
Right. And I think the advantage of having a smaller student body at Xavier is that kids are not going to get lost in the shuffle. You go to these big public schools, they got 3,000, 4,000 kids. It's easy for even a talented athlete to fall through the cracks, because they're not being, nobody's checking on their grades until it's too late. That's not going to happen at Xavier, correct?
No, absolutely. And I've seen that plenty of times where even at Palm Springs when I was playing, we'd have guys that, they would light it up in the preseason and that first grade check comes around and shoot, they're ineligible.
Gone. Yeah.
Right. So, and it can be devastating to a team, especially if it's somebody that's super important to your squad. Right.
Yeah.
And, only speaking on like the number of players that I have, right. when we lose guys, it impacts even more, right?
Yeah.
Because of the numbers that we have.
Yeah. And I just think that probably the structure is a little bit better at Xavier for kids, especially kids that may need that extra help. You guys have services and tutors and stuff like that maybe the public schools don't have. So something to consider when making that choice, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, Coach, we can sit here and talk to you all day, man. You know your stuff, but we're excited for you.
Thank you.
We're gonna be pulling for you.
We'll bring it back too.
Yeah, and preseason, we're gonna put you on the calendar, man. You got to come tell us what you're seeing out there, and we appreciate you coming in, man. We're gonna be rooting for you.
Absolutely. And I just thank you for having me, and I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate what you guys do by accentuating what we have in this valley, because I think it goes unnoticed a little bit what talent we have, not only from a football standpoint and a coaching ring that we have here, but also all of these kids like this. It helps big time to be able to get people that talk about high school sports.
More eyes the better.
Yeah, but it's a labor of love for us. We love the game. We love
this is the same thing we used to do at the bar.
Right. We just put a camera and a microphone in our face now. But yeah, it's a labor of love. Me and Josh love to do this, and we'd love to give you guys your props. The coaching community, we're so overworked and underpaid that somebody got to give us
fascinated
some love.
by it all.
So that's
everyone's
us,
got
man.
different approaches.
Absolutely. Yeah,
it's fun for me.
But thanks for coming in, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll be talking soon.
Yes,
and if you guys found some value in that episode, you know the routine. Like, subscribe, and follow, and we'll see you next time on Desert Valley Blitz.
Peace.